Official.
All right, let's get this thing started. Welcome to our new channel. Don't get too close, you're not kissing. Hi guys, welcome to our new channel, Empire Garage. We just wanted to introduce ourselves today before we post any videos. So I'm Shada and this is
Ranch. Yeah, like Shada said, we're just gonna introduce ourselves. This is our first official video that we will be posting. It's early morning, it's around 10:30, 11. We just came from a nice drive with the NSX and RX-7. But yeah, we just want to introduce ourselves, what the channel is going to be about, what we have in store for you guys, and what our plans are for the future.
Yeah, so let's start with a little background of what we do for a living, and then on the side what we do for cars.
So we're living in Southern California right now. We happen to be cousins. I am a doctor of chiropractic, fairly new, just a couple years into it. So that's what I do for a living. But number one passion has always been cars. We're both from the East Coast. We came here to the West Coast for graduate school. I went to chiropractic school and...
Yes, I went at the same time, so we moved to Southern California same year, same time. He went to Cairo and I went to pharmacy school, so I have a doctor of pharmacy, PharmD. We graduated both in 2018 and we've both been practicing since then. And it's been really interesting with the coronavirus going on.
This is like mid-April or beginning of April, so
yeah.
We're like, this is lockdown right now. We have masks, gloves over there. We technically should have taken the cars out today.
But you can't help it, like you can't be inside 24/7. So sometimes we just take the cars out, go for a drive early in the morning. It's always empty now, so it's good.
We're still social distancing. We literally have never seen anyone in the past couple weeks. I just see him and I see my wife.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, and I work from home, even though I work in a pharmacy. So I work from home, I don't see anyone.
Right.
It's either inside the house or we come to the garage work on cars. That's it. And eat. That's it.
Literally, that's all we do. And
yeah.
it started back in the East Coast throughout high school. The first official tuner car for me was a Nissan 350Z 04 Touring. So fast forward, I had the Z throughout college up until the last year. So 3 years of college. I went to Temple University. Had the Z. That's when I really learned like everything, like just wrenching.
Wrenching and tuning.
Yeah, I like tore it apart.
Yeah.
First mod was a exhaust. It was a HKS replica.
But it sounds good. It's called XO2, I think.
XO2.
Yeah, XO2.
I don't know if they still make them.
Yeah.
But, sounded pretty good, and then the mods kept going. And this is when stance was getting. This was the beginning of stance phase in the tuner world. So, coilovers, wheels. That was like a must, and we learned suspension work, how tire fitment works, and like offsets and tire stretching and spacers and fender rolling and how to get that perfect. Like a lot of people didn't know how to get it down.
Yeah.
So we got that pretty down pat. Like the Z looked good, and then Shada, you started with the Integras, but that wasn't like the real tuner.
That was my first car. Like in high school, I had an Integra, a black Integra. Then I think in my first year of college or second year, I don't remember, I sold the Integra and got an RSX. I've always been a Honda fan. So I got the RSX. It was a 2006. Really clean, like almost brand new.
And that's the The second generation RX.
Yeah, the one with the nice lights and nice
Yeah.
tail lights.
Yeah, really nice red. So the Z was red, the RSX was red, and you also got into tuning and slammed it and poked wheels. And like, it looked, for the time, it's still even today, those cars look good to me.
Yeah.
Even though the Z, it was on 18s. Nowadays the Z, like you can't put 18s on a Z, like that's too small. 18 by 9.5, like that's baby size.
But back then, no one was going for the Z's like 12s.
No, that was unheard of.
Yeah.
Now it's like 13, 14 inches in the back.
Yeah.
But that's where we learned wrenching. That's where we learned making mistakes. That's where we learned like that a part, just to get to a part, like it's just bolts, nuts and bolts.
Yeah.
So from then on, we were like, I'm never taking my car. Like we were very proud. Still am. Like never gonna take it to a shop or a mechanic.
Unless it's totally necessary, like it's a software issue, which we cannot do. Because I still remember when you installed your coilover first on the Z, then I got I think it was a stance coilover.
We both had stance.
Yeah, stance coilovers.
Yeah.
And we got CRK wheels, work emotions.
Yeah.
And when we installed the coilover on my car, because we were going so slant, and the brake line was not reaching when you turned it.
Okay, so we installed the coilovers on the RSX. Second coilover job in our lives.
Yeah.
So we're fairly new still. I guess the brake line was routed a little wrong, so I did a little test drive around my neighborhood. I took a turn, and when I turned it, it stretched and pulled the line out of the caliper. Brake pedal went all the way down to the ground. We were freaking out, and that was like our major. Like we're like, okay, we have to slow down.
Yeah,
with this stuff.
yeah.
So that car we leaked oil all over the street.
That was our first big error that we did, but that did not stop us because, like he said, we will tackle it, and sometimes you can't figure it out at the end. You do YouTube, you look at other people's work, forums, figure it out.
So it was always about good quality parts, clean builds. Like even though we're not into the stance thing, like the whole slammed look, we still have fitment down, and I would say the looks are more mature, but it's always been good quality builds.
So our babies, like he said, he drives an RX-7 and I drive an NSX, and that was right after I sold the RSX. I was looking for E55 AMG, so I've always wanted an AMG car. So I was searching for that E55. We found one in New York, a white one. And if you're familiar with E55s, white with Designo red interior is very rare. We found one. We actually went to the Mercedes dealer to check out all the records for the car, and that's when we found out the mileage has been rolled back. So we put that one on the back burner, and I didn't buy it. And I was searching for something that's more interesting at the same time. So this car came up on cars.com. This one came up at 4 p.m. The next day, I drove to Pittsburgh from Pennsylvania at 3 a.m. because I wanted to be at the dealer to put a deposit on the car. So I put a deposit on this NSX.
Because it was a really good deal.
Very, very good deal. Low mileage, very, very clean. The second owner. So basically one guy had it his whole life.
Clean title.
Clean title. So I put a deposit on it, and then a couple of weeks later, because they had to do like some maintenance work on it, and they had to do like paint correction.
Yep.
The guy, when we went to pick it up, a lot of people been calling about the car to the dealer, and the dealer didn't know what they had because the dealer was for muscle cars. And they were kind of backing out from the deal. They didn't want to give me the car. Remember you got in a fight with them?
Yeah.
This car's a manual, and if you're on wheelchair, you cannot. It's very difficult to drive a manual car. So I had to take him with me to pick up the car to drive off the NSX home.
We took the Integra with like no door panels, windows didn't work, nothing worked. But I don't know why.
I was fixing it.
Okay, so he's in the middle of fixing the Integra, four-door Integra. So we drove that there, and I was supposed to drive the NSX back, and still, like, that sounds like, holy shit, you got to drive. At the time, I was like, it's cool, okay? So then we go there, and they're trying to give us trouble because they're finding out like this car is actually way more valuable than what they posted for and what they agreed to sell Shada for. So they're trying to back out, trying to come up with reasons like.
I remember like they were like, yeah, we're not gonna give you the car because I wrote they didn't specify. They were like, any check will work, okay, and it was on a Sunday. Then when I get there, I wrote the check under my name. They like, no, we need a cashier's check, okay? And on a Sunday, what am I gonna get a cashier's check where all the banks are closed?
Yeah.
And we got into an argument. I was like, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving the dealership until you give me the car.
Yeah.
And they closed the dealership. I still waited. I was like, I am not leaving. You could call police, but I'm still not leaving the dealership. So that's when they were like, okay, we're gonna give you the car.
So then we drove it home.
Yeah. And rain.
I drove it home. It started pouring, and it's pouring, but I don't really feel the rain. And I call you.
I couldn't see shit, and this guy was like, I am comfortable in here.
The car was so stable. Like everything was so easy. I didn't hear the rain. Like I don't know.
I was dying in there.
That 4-hour, 5-hour drive. That's when I really fell in love with the NSX. Okay, so we got the NSX. I had purchased the RX-7 a couple months before that.
I would say yeah.
And I got that in Richmond, Virginia. That was like a 7-hour drive. Bone stock, beautiful, beautiful condition. I kind of regret modding it, but I kind of don't. Just because the values of like stock ones right now. But before this, so we skipped a car. So after the 350Z, I got an E46 M3, white, 6-speed, coupe, black interior. Like pretty rare. You can only go even more rare and get a cinnamon interior. That was just one, and then or the CSL, which we don't have. Mm-hmm. So it was amazing, and it was like last year, but it was salvage. We got it from New York. So this goes back to the AMG. Don't buy cars from New York. So I got it for a good deal. That's when we learned like Euro stuff, mechanics, like different like special tools and torques, bolts. Like these cars don't have those. No. They're a little more sensitive, right? So I did a whole inspection 2, they call it, valve adjustment, Vanos hub replacement, and all these little sensors and filters and all that. And I ended up selling it for a couple grand more than, like I made money off of it. The reason I sold it though was it just, I don't know.
Didn't feel right.
It didn't feel like, I feel like those cars, like if they're not taken care of from the start, German cars.
Like from the first owner he's talking about.
Yeah, like they're never gonna be right.
No, I agree.
Right? Like it just felt like it was off. But then we fast forward after that, and we're still in the stance phase. That's what RX-7. I wanted something like kind of more like badass and loud and obnoxious. And no one really did stance with the RX-7 yet. So different look than now, but both these cars were slant, wide wheels, stretch tires. Today's standards, like it's like, why would you do that to those cars?
Yeah.
But at the time, it was badass. But like Shada said, now we're on the West Coast and we have canyon roads and, you know, more days of the year to drive. So we kind of transform them into more drivers' cars, weekend cars, canyon monsters type of build, right? Okay, so now that you have the NSX, what have you done?
So right now, the current condition, the way it sits, it's wide body, it's custom wide body, aluminum, which is very hard to do. So it's, I think, about 30 millimeters wider at the front and 50 at the back, which is huge.
And the cars are already wide.
Yeah, the car itself is wide.
Yeah.
Like comparing it to RX-7, the way they sit, this one takes the whole side of the garage.
Yeah.
It has very special hand control to operate. So I drive a manual. It has a cup kit, which is not airbags, it's different. It's
little mini.
So you still have coilovers, which is good for canyons. It has aftermarket hood, lip kit, LED tail lights, engines all maintained. What else?
Big ass wing.
Big ass wing.
That just fits the wide body look.
Yes,
right?
I agree.
But you do have plans on making it a little more mild, right?
We'll have like two looks.
Okay.
We'll have like a track look.
Okay.
And we'll have like a street look.
Okay.
Yeah. There's other plans to refinish the wheels. Minor stuff like power mods that we're gonna do to it.
Yeah, they're in boxes.
Yeah.
Interior too, right?
Interior too.
That's untouched.
Yeah, like right now it has a Hennessy tune, which is very, very rare.
You bought it with that tune.
I bought it, and we didn't know it had a Hennessy tune.
It had a knob.
Yeah.
And I thought, at the time, a lot of kids had subs in the trunk and whatnot, and there was always like a knob to turn up the bass. So we thought it was that.
Yeah.
We follow these wires, and it's a freaking VTEC controller.
Yeah. Like you could lower the VTEC up to 3500, which usually comes almost at the red line. And while we were searching like how to set up the hand control, we basically tore the whole interior apart. And that's where we found out it has an ECU and it has a stamp on it. It says Hennessy. And it has a Hennessy exhaust as well. And I think it has a couple other Hennessy parts, I don't remember, but we're gonna do other stuff to it.
This is the same Hennessy company that does all the American cars today.
Yes.
They used to mess with NSXs back then.
This was tuned in 1996.
Okay.
Yeah, so it wasn't when it was brand new, but that's where Hennessy was starting, and they were trying with different cars, and this is one of them.
Gotcha. Okay, so with the RX-7, almost pretty much the same story, just went a little heavier with the engine.
A little bit heavier? He tore the whole thing apart.
Again, the car was bone stock when I got it. I did the easy bolt-on mods. And if you don't know FDs, these are the twin turbo 2-rotor 13B. So they have two little baby turbos that work sequentially. So one will be on, and at 4,500 RPM, the other one will kick on too. You're pretty much max in terms of power, and I did all the bolt-ons like downpipe, intake, little stock mount intercooler upgrade.
JDM upgrade turbos. You did that?
No, actually I didn't. I bought it.
Oh.
I didn't put them on. So the 99 turbos they flow better apparently. So I found a set and I bought those ready to install. And I had my main mistake was buying this flash tuned ECU that was already like flash tuned. Oh, this is good for this mod, like just the general bolt-ons, and you just plug it in. It's not the safest way. Like you don't have a tuned personal to your car, custom to your car. It's
like if you have a BMW and you do like the JB4,
and you just get like a random map, like off the website, right? So that's what I ran for a while. It ran fine, but like again, it was on its original motor at the time, and it was a really, really, really cold night. Remember, this is East Coast, and I was racing my friend's C6 Corvette. I beat it.
You didn't beat it because something happened at the end, right?
I definitely beat him.
Yeah, but
and then it like died in terms of power, and I came to a stop, and the idle was just not the same. Parked in, we didn't touch it for like 2 months.
But he knew what he did.
Yeah, I knew I blew a seal or something. So I was like, okay, I have to do a compression test. Yeah. So I remember, I don't know if you were doing the ignition, I was underneath there, I was checking the compression on each housing.
Yeah. All right.
We found out that so it's a 3-pulse, it's a rotor, so each rotor has 3 pulses you'll see on the compression tester. So one was low, I was like, okay, it's an Apex steel, and that's it, easy, on the rear housing. So I was like, I'm just gonna tear the motor, or take the motor out, which I've never done. I've never pulled the motor out, so that was a feat in itself. Pull the motor out, and I'm just gonna break it apart, and I'm gonna take it to a shop, because Jersey and Pennsylvania have a lot of rotary shops. So I took it apart. That's crazy. I pulled the motor out, like, it's wild. I had to buy engine hoist. Like, I don't have tools like that, so this is like a crazy big deal for me. Pull the motor out, tear it all apart. I take it to the shop. I take it to the shop because I don't know where the issue was. I didn't see. I was like, I'm very confused. Like, I want to see something broken. Nothing looked bad. Turbo fins look perfect. The housings don't look like scratched or marred or anything. They look clean. The rotors are fine. And the guy at the shop finds like a tiny chip off one of the apexes. He's like, this is your issue right there. It's so small, but it makes sense. Like, you lose compression right there, and that's it. So I take it home. I still have those 99 spec twin turbos, and I got those for a really good deal, like $200, and they're worth like $1,000. I was like, if I can sell those for $1,000, if I can sell all my twin turbo, like stock setup bolt-ons, like intake and all that, I can gather enough money to just put together like a single turbo kit. And I end up actually having the balls to rebuild the motor myself.
The whole thing. It took him like 2 months.
I ended up building the motor, large street port. So now it's single turbo, large street port, everything you could do. It's also wide body, custom wide body. We brought it up to date with the 99 spec front. It has some JDM flair to it, the fender mirrors and wide ass wheels and tires. And so they're both have that canyon look now, right? And they actually handle the canyons like they're supposed to. We did it the other night. They're monsters, like
they are.
Like, especially when these tires get sticky. So that's enough for that. We're gonna have a bunch of videos on both cars because there's still so much to do. We have a whole board here of like all our projects that we currently are working on. So that brings us to what we are near finishing.
Yes, so the first project that near completion right now is 2010 E63 AMG. So that just goes back to my love for AMG cars, and I always wanted one, so this is it.
You're gonna see what we've been through with that car. It was mangled when we bought it. And now it's near completion. It's driving. I drove it today.
Did you push it today?
I pushed it a little bit.
Yeah?
Once the oil warmed up. It's a monster of a car for how heavy it is too. But I mean, the RX-7 is pretty fast. Like, she'll boogie. It'll go, but it doesn't have that torque that the AMG has.
The way it pushes you back in the seat is amazing. So there's gonna be a series of videos about that car, getting it up to driving, and then what we're gonna do, we're gonna mod it, because if you're only looking for a channel that they just gonna fix cars, that's it. Yeah, that's not gonna happen here.
No, so we're gonna fix it, and then we're gonna mod it tastefully.
Yes.
And then we'll see what we, in terms of, do we sell it? Do we do something even better? We might, because I still have a love for BMWs.
Yes.
So the equal car to that, I would say, is an M5.
Yeah.
F10, V8 twin turbo. I think if we still have the AMG and the M5, that would be like an awesome like pair, just like these two are. We don't have that yet, but so we are near completion of the AMG project. We will always have more car projects like the M5 or whatnot. We might get into some off-roading stuff.
I have a soft spot for like old classic off-roaders. So
you're thinking Toyota?
Yes, but I don't want to go into detail what Toyota. And I have a personal connection with that car. That's why I want to get it.
Okay, so there was a little mini phase between the previous garage I did stuff and then Jada getting this garage. So I was like, the car's just parked in the structure at home, and I needed, like, I was itching to wrench on something.
Yeah.
And we moved into an apartment with a huge balcony. So and there's an area on the balcony that's like perfect for a motorcycle.
Yeah.
I know nothing about motorcycles. We've never dealt with motorcycles. My dad literally says, he's like, motorcycles and drugs, same level.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't plan on doing anything like stupid. Like I might not even ride it. I just want to build it for the look. If I ride it, it'll be around the block or to like a coffee shop type of thing. Instagram has been messing with my brain. I've been seeing these cafe racers, the old 70s, some of the 80s Japanese bikes. Actually, German too.
Yeah.
So I started looking, and I'm like, oh, I already found like these bikes. Like, they're so cheap around here, rust-free for the most part. So I ended up buying a 1981 CB650 custom, okay, Honda, and it ended up being the wrong type of frame for the perfect cafe look. Mm-hmm. The custom just doesn't equal perfect cafe flatness, and you'll see in the videos to come. So I spent a little too much time trying to convince myself that it would work. I bought some parts, like, you know, we're gonna cut this, weld that. There's still gonna be cutting and welding, but
we're still gonna do it.
Yeah, we're still gonna build that bike, but it's not gonna be like the main cafe racer. So like 2-3 weeks ago, I found another CB650 standard with the perfect flat frame for a good price. I was like, I can just buy this, I can build it, I can use some of these parts, and some of the parts I bought for the 81 and build both bikes. But now we're surrounded by parts from 2 bikes that we just tore apart. We have it filmed, we're about to post those as well. So you guys will be seeing us build 2 cafe racers, starting with the 1979 one. We're gonna learn to weld, we're gonna learn motorcycle mechanics.
If you want to get into cars and work on them, I think a bike is a perfect, especially with these old bikes, because they're not that difficult. Great idea to get a bike, start working on it. Everything that's on a car, what's on a bike.
Yeah, for the most part, it's all the same. I mean, this was our first time dealing with carburetors, so that was interesting. I had to rebuild these, and I knew nothing about carburetors prior to this. We'll see how they both turn out. It could be the beginning of a lot of other motorcycle projects, I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna do something special too with another bike.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. That's gonna be
2 more cool ideas for bikes.
Yes. Something is gonna be really interesting. Probably is never done before.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Not in the look we want, but
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we're working on, what we plan to work on. There's going to be a bunch of other projects, hopefully, that we can keep filming. Like I said, this is, if we're not working, if we're not at home, if I'm not with my wife, we're here.
Yeah.
Working on the cars or the bikes, wrenching on something, because these 2 alone, the RX-7 and NSX, the list will never end.
No.
Because
always stuff.
There's a phase of, you know, when you get these cars, you just maintain them, and then you're modifying them. And I'm towards the end of the modifying phase, and now I'm entering the restoration type of phase, because it's a 1993. It's old, so first thing that comes to mind is like bushings, right? And they're all shot. Bushings are old.
Definitely.
The motor might in a couple years need to freshen up, or if I want to clean it up. I was young and I didn't know much as much as I know now, so if I can attack it again, there'll be a lot of things that can change.
Yeah. There's so much stuff like I cannot listen, to be honest with, on these cars. Like we have so much for these cars that we're gonna, like from now on, whatever we do, we're gonna post a video about it. Because before we worked on so many different cars, and I wish we recorded at least, even if we recorded half of it, we would have a ton by now.
Man, I don't know. Yeah, we did so much.
Yeah.
We were in my parents' garage. I remember we had Instagram. We just didn't like take advantage. So I would post something on Facebook or Instagram, like just a little picture of. It'll be like a wrench on the RX-7, right, or the NSX. without texting, calling, all you would hear is like all the boys in the neighborhood would stop by. Like that's what like made me like fall in love with like doing it.
Yeah.
That
atmosphere.
Right, that
Having
atmosphere.
friends just come and we talk, then we get food
At the diner.
at the diner.
Because we would have to test the car out.
Yeah.
Always. It would be like 1, 2 o'clock at night.
All greased up.
All greased up, and the diners are 24 hours there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was amazing. But we just never recorded it in terms of film.
But we're gonna start doing it from now on.
Okay, I think that's
pretty
good,
much.
yeah?
Yeah, so this will be our first intro to our channel. Then we'll post the AMG, we'll post the bikes, RX-7, NSX, and we just gonna be posting a lot of videos. So like, subscribe, and comment. You know, what do you like, what do you don't like, what do you want to change?
Whether this video was too long or not.
Yeah.
Alright guys, we'll see you next time.
See you guys.